like to welcome everybody to the Ocean Springs Planning Commission meeting. Today's date is February 9th, 2021. All commissioners are present except for Andy Phelan. I'd like to start off with a prayer and then a pledge.
Dear Lord, please bless us and guide us to make wise and just decisions in the best interest of the city of Ocean Springs. And please hold the city and the residents of Ocean Springs in your grace. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So tonight on the agenda, we have no old business. We have two things on new business under A and B. We have a public hearing on B, which will be 709 Church Street, Rossetti Park. And at the end of the meeting, we have public comment. People are welcome to address anything that's not on the agenda for up to 3 minutes per person. And I would like to have a motion made to review and adopt the minutes from previous January 12th, 2021.
Make a motion to approve the minutes. Second.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
All against? Unanimous. Do any of the commissioners have any discrepancies they would like to note and amend? Moving forward. Do we accept the minutes as presented? Do I have a motion? All right, second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All against? Unanimous. Moving on. Okay. All right. Okay. Moving under, we have no old business, so we're moving on to new business. This will be the discussion for a lot split on 3701 D'Anville Boulevard, the Brookwood Properties LLC. Do I have a motion to
We don't need public comment at the end of the presentation, so, but don't need to actually go into the public hearing.
got
On
it
this
right.
next one, that's okay. I know.
All right.
It's complicated.
Okay. Carolyn, Wade.
I've got it. Okay, this is a request for a lot split of a property into two. Is currently an undeveloped parcel. It's 4.3 acres area total, 300 feet of street frontage on D'Anville Boulevard. What's proposed are two parcels, one of 1.7 acres, 280 feet of frontage. The other one is 2.6 acres with a approximately 25 feet of street frontage on D'Anville Boulevard. What's planned for this is a 115,500 square foot storage facility proposed on parcel A, the 1.7 acre tract, with the remaining being left for future development. Just earlier this evening, the Board of Zoning Adjustment Board approved a variance for an appeal of the setback requirements, so that is moving forward. What is before you this evening, as I said, is the lot split into two. Would point out that parcel B, since it has 25 feet of frontage on D'Anville, it is a flag lot under the UDC, which are discouraged by that, but it does allow you to approve them under the following provisions, where that if it allows for more efficient use of irregularly shaped parcels, or sites with physical limitations, or integrated nature of multiple buildings. One of the reasons for that discouraging by the flag lots is because it leads to a large number, excessive number of driveways onto the street. In the situation we have here, staff is recommending that the flag lot and this other parcel, lot 8, share a access driveway onto Bienville Boulevard. That would be through a shared access easement and a ending their driveway, much as what is shown on page 3. That's our recommendation. And in talking with the applicants earlier today, they were agreeable to that change, to that sharing of access easement in this situation. So with that, staff is recommending approval of the lot split as shown on the site plan, and with the provision also that there be access easement and shared access onto Bienville Boulevard. Now, I said there are representatives here from the developer, from Brookwood, and they'd be glad to answer questions or make a short presentation to y'all. Thank you.
Thank you, Ray. Would the developer, like,
Sure. My name's Robert Piper with Brookwood Properties. We're in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I think Mr. Morgan did a good job of kind of outlining what we're trying to accomplish here. The track itself is, the owner of the track is Greater New Orleans Foundation, and they also, it's a 4-acre track, 4+ acres. They also own the adjacent lot, which is 7-point-something acres. Total across the frontage, there's about 500 feet of frontage. We're purchasing about 280 feet of that frontage, then going back. So we're taking the minimum amount we can, but leaving them with this parcel they possibly can have left. So in speaking with Greater New Orleans Foundation, they don't intend on being allowed for 25-year frontage. It's just as of now, when we create this other lot, it would have 25 feet, but they also own the additional 160 feet of frontage next to them. The thoughts there are, I think they're looking to do more medical office, because they also have access from Groveland in the rear. So what we're asking for is, and agree with, is the staff report of sharing the driveway. One comment on that, sharing driveway is something that we've done on several other projects. We're doing it on other projects right now. The reason it's very easy for us to accept that is we have very, very limited traffic at our facility. We have maybe 7 cars a day. I think is an average day for us. So we don't burden the driveway very much at all. So in fact, I think they would probably be using it much more than we would. And this is also the plan that we sent to MDOT for their approval as well, and they came back with a recommendation for a shared driveway. So we're in agreement with that, and look forward to any questions you guys may have.
any of the commissioners?
I just got one quick question. So if I'm reading these right, there are 2 access points from 90 onto the property now, and it will remain 2, one of them will be shared.
Correct.
Okay.
Well, that's what's proposed. It has not gone through design review yet. And so what you're saying, the NDOT is given its okay. So more than likely, then it will move forward with that.
Yeah, I just wanted to clarify that it wasn't going to turn into 3, because if you do that flag, yeah. Okay.
Okay. Marshall?
You have any idea what plans are for partial A?
This partial, okay, so the remainder of partial A?
Yeah.
So partial A is our parcel right now.
Oh, okay.
So 50, yeah. So parcel B, in speaking with Greater New Orleans Foundation when we purchased the property, it's important for them to be left with something that's marketable, developable. So they want to utilize the access in the rear. So much like Doctor's Drive to the west, they wanted to have, they plan on using our driveway as kind of the launch point to get through, maybe carry that on through and have multiple different uses. So they plan on probably having a couple different medical office buildings back there. That's the intent. Speaking with their agent, we had to kind of come to an agreement that when we proposed our use and sent them our elevations, that is something that they were willing to work with and accept and then ultimately develop around. So the full intent there is my understanding is going to be They said office, in particular, medical office, but that would be, more for them, on and off than me.
Okay, but you said you do have access from Groveland too, huh?
Our site does not, lot A does not, but what's the remainder of the piece, once
Yeah.
the resub, yes, would have, has, 200 plus feet of frontage on Groveland.
Okay. All right.
Any other commissioners? Moving on, does the commission have a motion they would like to recommend?
Make a motion to recommend approval of the lot split at 3701 Bienville, as shown on the site plan, with the application subject to the condition that parcel A and B share a driveway on the Bienville Boulevard. Approve the shared access.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All against? Unanimous. Thank you. All right.
And this will also be on the Wednesday Board of Alderman agenda. Consent, correct.
Moving on to public hearing for 709 Church Street, Rossetti Park West. This is PID number 601191116.000. Roger and Vicky Applewhite are requesting a preliminary plat approval of 3 lots. Do I have a motion to open this? Lines?
Make a motion to go into public hearing.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All against? Unanimous. All right, we are in an open public hearing on this now. Wade?
Yes. Okay, as you mentioned, this is a preliminary plat approval for a 3-lot subdivision for single-family detached dwellings. What the preliminary plat approval will do will allow the construction of water, sanitary sewers, and the infrastructure that go along with it. You may recall this property came to you before. It was most recently the future development part of the Rossetti Park East subdivision, which y'all approved by sketch plat on May 14th and went to the board on the 21st of 2019. What this is the original Rossetti Park West subdivision, which was recommended for approval by y'all, approved by the board, but was then subsequently withdrawn when there was a possibility for another development of the property, of the entire property. That proposal is not going to move forward. So the 3 lots on the east side were created. This plan before you tonight will create 3 more lots on the west side and bring the entire property under this one Rossetti Park subdivision. Staff is recommending approval of it, provided that that is merged with the 3 lots on the east side, so that it is one subdivision under the UDC requirements. And we're recommending approval of that. And Donovan Scruggs is here to make a presentation regarding the subdivision.
Scruggs?
Thank you. Good job, Wade. That was a pretty good effort. I don't know if I could have done much better. It's been before y'all several times in several different forms. I don't know that I agree with the combining them in one whole subdivision, because we, of course, received final plat approval last month, and we hope to, that will be recorded and platted as soon as we get our signatures on those documents. This, of course, will be the west side, which will be 3 lots, and they will have their own separate plats. So this huge subdivision of 6 lots will have 2 phases, an east and a west phase. And it was primarily just for efficiency of conveying properties. Both of them have water and sewer on each side. This side's actually, both of them are pretty expensive for a lot split because of the depth of the manhole and the configuration we're doing on the west side. However, we ordered the manhole last time we got approved and then had to shelf it because we thought we were doing a hotel. Now that we're not doing a hotel and we are doing the subdivision, we actually have a manhole waiting for us and we can have that installed very efficiently and hopefully over the next 30 days and come back to you for final plat approval of the design. Water's already out front, and we already have people who are willing to buy these lots. So it's really a Vicky and Roger. I want to say we, I mean Vicky and Roger. I'm not a part of it, but I just come to see you guys for them. But hopefully it'll move pretty quickly. We'll have 6 new, very nice houses in downtown Ocean Springs. I'll be happy to answer any questions you may have. As Wade said, this is the exact same thing you approved a year ago. We just got sidetracked when we had somebody who came in and said they wanted to buy the whole parcel. So now we're back to square one, which is the west side zone.
Commissioners?
My only question is, you said you didn't really agree with it being the phase 2.
No, Wade said it's as one single subdivision, and the way I took that as a single plat. But yeah, it is Rossetti Park.
Gotcha.
But there's the east and west side, there will be 2 separate plans. That's
So
all.
semantics doesn't
Yeah,
affect it.
exactly, planners, jargon stuff.
Instead of 2 different names, Rossetti Park East and Rossetti Park West, it's really
It's
phase
Rossetti
1
Park,
and 2.
And,
They'll have the same guidelines on.
oh, yes, Vicky's in charge of everything, same guidelines.
So which design are you back to for the houses? We've been through several things. Was there 3 things with a stacked thing, narrow driveway, shown on the original plan? I forget what you had when you came in.
I think the original, what he's talking about is y'all were gonna do like 2-story and you were gonna have parking in the rear.
Yeah, I mean, with the lots are, I'll let a handle to, it's about 50 feet, 55 feet, so they're very narrow.
They're narrow lots, 55 feet.
Yeah, the best way to do this is going to be parking in the rear. You really don't have room for, and nobody, I think, wants a double carport in front of this because it would be not very attractive. But that is all part of the design guidelines. They do have a set of architectural standards they're going to put out there, and they get through their architect that will review those plans.
Were they 2-story houses? I can't remember.
You got a variance for like 2.5, wasn't it?
And then we resolved it to 3. I mean, it's CMX 2, so we actually can go 3 stories. But I don't think I think 2.5 is what the plan is. That way you have 2 full stories and a half story.
What, for little people?
They need houses too.
So on the back side, are those lots a little wider on the west side?
No, we will say that on the east side, we had 4 lots drawn in the originally. I think we had 3 lots.
All right.
But these are pretty narrow, but they're very deep. That's the good thing about it. The lots are very, very deep. So it's got room back there for for parking, accessory structure for parking garages.
Approximately how wide are they, do you remember?
The lots are, I think they're, what is it, like 55 feet?
No, well, the 150, the other 2 are 48.
Okay, so they're very
They're
narrow.
narrow, yes. So it's gonna, but it's, they're evidently doable with parking in the rear with a bookend top garage.
So how much land is required for a driveway? How many feet?
About 12 feet.
12, 12 is more than that. You can do 10 feet. Would be easily for a single wide driveway. 12 feet would be plenty.
So these are gonna be extremely narrow houses then, right?
I mean,
Well, there's also a 5-foot setback rather than standard 10.
Right.
So you're pushing them over to the side further.
yeah, I mean, I think we're hitting, very easily attainable as a 30-foot wide house, which it's not traditional, with your ranch style homes you have in Ocean Springs, but it's definitely, it's more traditional in some senses, more of a cottage type vernacular, seaside and places like that, do it all the time.
Well, Jackson Avenue, they're all 50 feet.
Yeah,
with-
yeah, yeah.
The what?
The lots, the old lots on Jackson Avenue in that area,
Yeah.
the original plats were 50 feet.
Yeah, the houses are gonna be narrower and longer, and then, of course, they're going to be multi-story.
Okay. Sorry.
Any other commissioner? Yeah, I'd like to open the floor to public comment. Thank you, Donovan.
Thank you.
Does anybody would like to comment on this project and everything on the right side of the room? On the right side of the room, the city engineer, I'd like to get your input on it. Do you have anything you'd like to say, Mr. Fay?
No, as far as the utilities and all that stuff, there's not an issue with it. It's strictly a planning issue.
Thank you. All right, do I have a motion to close public hearing?
I make a motion to come out of public hearing.
Do I have a second? All in favor?
Aye.
All against? Unanimous. All right. What is the commission's wishes?
I'll make a motion. Make a motion to approve a subdivision of the future development area of Rossetti Park East subdivision as described in the attached application and site plan, and subject to the following conditions. Identify the plat as Rossetti Park East Phase 2.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All against? Unanimous. Thanks, Donovan.
Thank y'all. I know y'all can't have a 30-minute meeting, so if you wanna talk about something else,
No, we can.
I mean, I can, I'm here, yeah.
All right.
I'm charging
We most
somebody.
definitely can have
Well, we're gonna move on to, this is gonna be open for general, public comment. People will, allowed to address the commission up to 3 minutes, regarding the topic that's not on the agenda. Please.
I'm seeking information and guidance on the issue that I'm bringing
If
to
you
y'all.
if you would please give your name and address.
Okay, it's Walter Scoopin, 2455 Davidson Road.
Mhm.
Give one to Mr. Marshall.
Okay.
Thank you.
I live at 2455 Davidson Road, and my house is in the property, is the bottom right side on the map there. I also own lots 8 and 21, and the Davidson subdivision, of course, I probably know is being developed. The issue I want to ask you about, or guidance on it, is Joyce Street is being developed, and the developer is doing a cul-de-sac at the east end property lines of lots 9 and 20. That's where his development ends. The rest of that road, which is also Joyce Street, but they're not gonna do anything with that, I can understand. But they're sort of making it into a drainage area, the road's gonna sort of drain down there because they've already thrown rock down here to keep erosion from occurring. And I just wanna know what guidance do I have, what options do I have in the future if I want access to my property?
Didn't we discuss this several months ago when we were talking about the subdivision? Huh?
Well, and Wade would be able to, has looked at it more closely. I know he's looking something up, since it wasn't on the agenda, but, Joyce Street is a public street, so any extension of that or access from that, it does, and I don't have it right in front of me, but it abuts, where he finishes abuts your properties, is that correct?
Yes.
Right, so basically, your properties are accessed now via Joyce Street, and you can develop them as you would have in any event, and you just use Joyce Street once he's not finished. He hasn't finished his final plat because he has not finished his construction. So and James may have some more information off the top of his head that he remembers, but he is putting in drainage infrastructure and will pave the road. He's just not finished with his work yet.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, the last 71 feet of Joyce Street, that's on the east end, it does drop in elevation. And if I were going to do driveways or something, I would even have to build up Joyce Street, but then the cul-de-sac is there.
Right.
So, can I go across an edge of the cul-de-sac to get into the property, or?
Yeah, like any street, you would do a curb cut in it, for access to continue, to your property. Now, James might have some more thoughts on.
Is your
it's more
property
familiar.
past the cul-de-sac?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so you're,
Cul-de-sac would end right here,
uh-huh,
and this is my property. Yes.
okay, is there a ditch through there?
It drains through there, yes.
Like I said, the road, the property does taper off down into a drainage area.
Yeah.
But, you know, like anybody says, if you got enough money, you can develop anything, so I'm just looking to make sure that if I decide to put something on that property, I can have
If you wanna go
access.
farther west, or farther
Farther
east
east.
than what he's building right here,
Absolutely.
yeah, they could cut the end of that cul-de-sac open where you can, go through there.
In fact, especially for commissioners that weren't here during that time, that was why, we had gotten a request at one point to vacate that right of way. But doing so would have actually landlocked Mr. Scubian's property, so we were not able to legally vacate that undeveloped, undersized right of way. So in order to develop the other properties, the, person who's developing Joyce Street had to make it into a real road. He had to actually develop, so we worked with him on that. It will be replatted, but he has not finished the construction, so he has not gotten a final plat yet. We hope soon. He will finish the construction, pass the inspections, and then it will come to you as a final plat for Joyce Street. But at that point, any curb cuts that you need to do to go have your access through his cul-de-sac, you will be able to do.
Okay, that's
Yeah,
fine.
it will not, and that's why he had to build the road, is to not landlock you.
Yeah.
From, I was looking at it, I didn't bring the sketching I did with me, but, looks like your lot there on the north side of, the new street does have, at least on paper, have access to George Street. Now, whether it physically does because of the riprap and the drainage that's in there, that's something that we'll have to look at in the field. And, talk to, the developer of that, see if he could work out some sort of arrangement on that.
Okay.
But, at least, your lot does touch it,
Yeah.
Yes.
so it would have access to it.
Okay, well, I just wanted to make sure that I could get access for this project.
Say how much it might cost to actually physically do that, that's another question altogether.
Yes.
I thought when we went through all this discussion, there were trees and drainage problems and everything else at that end.
It is a drainage area,
Yeah.
and the city was in there about a year ago and started doing some stuff. And after about 2 weeks, that particular area, they haven't been back.
Yeah.
All I'm saying is that whoever's developing a subdivision ought to get a heads up in terms of this is evolving, number one. And secondly, whenever we discuss the subdivision, we should have a detailed update on what's to the east and all that, because as I recall, that was a major thing, and why we stopped the discussion at that time, that he didn't know what to do in terms of the trees and the drainage and all the other stuff. So it'd be very helpful to make a note that whenever this comes back to us, either way, that all be clarified and updated, and make sure that the developer understands too, that when he puts the cul-de-sac in, don't put any curbing right there, because he's gonna want to bust through that.
Well, we'll have to address that now while he just hasn't paid, because he got preliminary plat from y'all, so that when it comes back to you, it'll be final plat when the construction's done. So we'll go back and look at his plans and make sure that, while on paper, yes, you do have access, but we can look at that section and make sure he hasn't put something there that physically stops the access. But, but that's.
Yeah, I
that's
just think rather than we get into some
Yeah.
contest, legal and all the other crap
Right.
on down the line, it'd be nice to let him know what's going
Exactly.
on.
We're gonna
So he
fund that.
doesn't incur the cost of, and all that,
We need
okay?
to reach back out to him anyway, so when we talk to him about where he is on the project, we'll make sure that the drainage and access are still, not detrimental to Mr. Skeeter's
So can
property.
you just give us an update on this next meeting?
Good, well, yeah.
Okay,
do that.
thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you. Does anybody else would like to have anything they would like to present or bring before the commission? All right, so I'm going to.
Motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion that we adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All against? Unanimous?
Yeah, I didn't have a chance.
Thank you.